Hey, it's Justin with Flat Creek Firearms. We're doing the test that everybody's curious about today. So this is the 308 22-inch barrel, 18-inch barrel, 16-inch barrel, and of course the 12.5-inch barrel. So we're going to start off with the M240 because that's the only thing I have that has a 22-inch barrel. We already got the bullets linked up, so we're going to start with the Barnes 110 grain. So these are the reduced recoil, but we picked them because they were 110 grain, so it's pretty light grain for a 308, moving 2910 feet per second per the box. So we're going to start with those. Then we're going to move over. These are new. These are pretty new. I haven't heard of these. So these are 125 grain SBR enhanced. And these things are supposed to be moving 3250, 3,250 feet per second. And the powder's probably enhanced to burn up in a shorter barrel. That's what these are. And then we're going to move over to the actual, these are the Federal Gold Medal match with the Berger bullet in it. So that's this one on the end here. Looks like a full metal jacket, but it is actually the Gold Medal match Berger open tip. And this is actually 185 grain. So what's going to be very, very curious about the 185 grain, will it stabilize in the 16? We know the 18 will stabilize it. Will it stabilize in a 16 and the 12.5-inch barrel? You're going to be with us and we're going to find out. All right, so we're starting out the 110 grain. This is 2,910 feet per second. This is reduced recoil, but it's 110 grain. This is the Barnes, I call them Vortex, but the VOR-TX. So these are supposed to be running 2910. This is out of a 22-inch barrel, M240. And we're going to see what the velocity is. So just keep in mind, don't put too much emphasis on the group down here. We're literally just trying to get velocity. This is a 6-powered ACOG, and the green fiber dot in the middle of it is twice the size of that one MOA dot down there, one MOA target down there. So here we go. That was 2849. 2813. And that was 2779. All right, so now we're moving on to the Fiocchi. This is the SBR Enhanced 308, 125 grain. This is supposed to be moving 3,250 feet per second. So these things are meant for a short barrel, but we're going to see what we can get out of a 22-inch barrel. That was 3175. 3137. 3195. All right, so now we're moving on to the Federal Premium Gold Medal match. These are the Berger open tip match, and these are 185 grain. They should be running, these are average boxes. Sorry, these are 2,600 feet per second. So 22-inch barrel. Here we go. $25.41. $25.47. $25.75. And it's clear. All right, now we're moving over to the 18-inch barrel, and this one's actually sitting on a Remington 700. This is my old Remington 700. The velocities will be a little bit higher than these gas guns, but not much. So it's not going to vary too much. Again, starting with the Barnes 110 grain. This one should be 2910 feet per second. Yeah, so that one was 2677. $26.83. $26.88. All right, now we're moving over to the Fiocchi 125 grain out of the 18-inch Remington 700. $3,096. Do you see it? It's low, I see it. Okay. $3,094. $3,063. All right, now we're moving over to the Federal Gold Medal Match, the Berger Open Tip 185 grain. These are ones that look like full metal jackets, but they're actually hollow points. They actually got an open tip. It's just really small though. That was $24.65. $24.68. $24.79. I can tell I pulled one of those. We're going to move over to the 16-inch. This is the custom one that I built for a customer. So this is a 16-inch proof carbon fiber barrel. It's 1 in 10 twist, and ultralight handguard, Wilson Combat, ultralight upper and lower. Proof does recommend you run a full mass bolt carrier group. This rifle came in at around 7 pounds with a titanium suppressor, but we're running a full mass carrier. That JP carrier weighs about a pound, and we're running an H3 buffer in this, a tungsten buffer, so it's heavy too. But all the weight is back here in this AR-10. So now we're going to start same order. We're doing the Barnes 110 grain out of the 16-inch carbon. That's $25.70. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. This gun is actually tuned for a suppressor. So we have the gas optimized for the Nomad titanium on it. So I will have to cycle it every time. But you know, that's when you're pulling the trigger the right way is when you don't snatch it around. That was $25.66. 25.77. All right, now we're moving over to the Fiocchi SBR Enhanced. This is the 125 grain out of the 16-inch carbon. That was 29.54 out of a 16-inch barrel. So SBR Enhanced is true. $29.59. $29.79. All right, now we're moving over to the Federal Premium Gold Medal Match, 185 grain. These kind of look like full metal jackets, but they're actually open tips. So these actually perform very well at range too. So they still open up and dump all that energy in the animal. Where's that one at? I see that. Really high. And it cycled it too. That's funny. Them old gold medal match must have some. Oh yeah, so that one was 23.67, and what's weird is it's tuned for a suppressor, but it actually eject that round, so these must be a little spicy. That one was 24.06. And that was 23.88. All right, now this is the last gun we're testing. So this is actually the 12.5 Saber from PSA. It's a 12.5-inch barrel, and this is the one that everybody wants to know about. I can tell you now from shooting this gun for the past 3 months almost, if you want to try to save weight by going down to the 12.5-inch barrel, don't do it. Because by the time you put the optic on it, it's a buddy of mine's rifle, you're really not going to save that much weight. But the question was just for mobility and having a can on it and just having a shorter package to hunt tote around, come out of the truck, shoot pigs with at night, stuff like that. I can go ahead and tell you now the velocities are pretty good on it. So I would say the 12.5 will work for hunting all day long. The accuracy, we're still going to see at 300 yards how well it shoots. But the biggest thing, if you want to drop weight, you got to go with a carbon fiber barrel. That's what it is. So now we're going to run the same way we've been running them before, 110 grain, starting with those first, 110 grain Barnes. 2407. 2355. 2365. All right, now we're moving over to the Fiocchi SBR Enhanced 308 125 grain. These are supposed to be running 3250 out of an SBR, so we'll see what this says. $27.28 out of a 12.5-inch barrel. That is crazy. $27.94. 27.74. Those things are moving out of a 12.5-inch barrel. All right, finally, the Federal Gold Medal Match Berger open tip. This is an open tip, not a full metal jacket, but it looks like a full metal jacket. So these are 185 grain, and we're gonna see what the velocity is on them out of this 12.5. It's gonna be curious to see. The reason we're not really so much concerned with the accuracy down there, I'm kind of shooting these fast. I'm really not taking my time as much as I should for an actual accuracy test. But one of the biggest questions is, will this short 12.5-inch barrel have enough twist, long enough twist in the barrel to stabilize a heavy 185 grain? We're about to find out. $22.33. That's pretty slow. $22.35. 22.58. All right, so this is pretty much the target. And before anybody says anything, this is not for accuracy. Like I said, we were doing a velocity test. That's what this video is about, not accuracy. We just wanted a good aiming point, and with the shorter barrels, we just wanted to see if they would stabilize the heavier Federal Gold Medal match, the Berger bullets, the 185 grains. So we started here. This was actually the 240, 22-inch barrel. That's the belt fed one. So 110 grain. Those two were pretty close through that one. The 125 SBR enhanced through that little group there. The 185s through it there. Now to give you an idea, just perspective, is that dot in that the dot in the ACOG is literally about that big over that circle. So I mean, you can't see that circle. Then we moved over to the 18-inch bolt gun. This is my Remington 1100. Apparently, it absolutely loves the Hornady 110s. Then we moved down to the 125s, shot that group, and then that's about what I expect out of a 185. But like I said, I'm not taking my time to shoot on, and that's kind of crazy. The 16-inch carbon, shot the 110s, the 125s, and that's the Bergers there, the 185s. So when you compare this group and this group to that group, absolutely the 16-inch carbon is able to stabilize 185 grain. And then moving over to the 120, this is the 110, but the 12.5, this was the 110s, the Barnes. This was the actual Fiocchi 125s, SBR enhanced, and then these were the Bergers. So when you judge this and you come down here, absolutely you can stabilize 185s with the Saber 12.5. So that's what we wanted to know. And like I said, we had done most of this test before, but got interrupted. So I can tell you now that we shot The 16, we shot the 18 and the 16. We never got to the 12.5. We shot the 18 and 16 with the Bergers because we were taking our time really trying to get accuracy out of the other video we were trying to do. And the Bergers were shooting the best out of the 16-inch and the 18-inch. And we were kind of expecting it to be the same with the 12.5, and it was. They were pretty tight. So absolutely, we'll stabilize the 185s. And then we took and shot the 16 and 18 at 300 yards. And pretty much this group, you just times it by 300 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if it's a 1-inch group, it's 2 inches at 200, 3 inches at 300. And that's essentially what the groups were shooting. So there's no sense in us wasting the ammo to shoot at 300 yards. These groups absolutely would be tighter. These are all within lower, a 1 MOA or lower. Absolutely. So you will be 3-inch MOA even with these short barrels. So that was kind of the test. And with the velocity, the only one that was really low was the Barnes, not the Barnes, the Federal Berger bullets down here on the end, the 185s. They ran about 2,200 feet per second. I'd like to see what they would do in ballistics jail, or actually try them on a pig or something to see how they open up and how they performed inside of the actual animal. But that's pretty slow. The other two, the 110s and the 125, especially that SBR enhanced out of a 12.5, they will absolutely perform good inside of an animal. So that was a test. I hope it was a long one, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. And as always, see y'all.